You're watching Virginia This Morning. This segment is sponsored by Bon Secours Virginia Breast Center.
Early detection is key in the treatment of breast cancer, and here with the need-to-know facts on breast care and treatment is nurse practitioner Ida Vaclavik and RN and breast cancer survivor Kathy Childers. We welcome both of you to Virginia This Morning. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
It's our pleasure. You both bring this really fantastic perspective. You're in the medical profession. Ida, you're a nurse practitioner. Kathy, you're a registered nurse, breast cancer survivor, as we said. You work with women every day going through this experience. Ida, we talk about detection, early detection being key. There's no real way to prevent breast cancer?
No, unfortunately, there's not any way to prevent breast cancer, so the best thing we can offer is early detection and really encourage people to get their mammograms annually and to come see a provider if they have a concern about something with their breast.
What does early detection look like today versus even 10 years ago?
Well, as our imaging technology has improved, we can detect things a lot earlier, which doesn't change your diagnosis, but it can change the treatment and the staging of the disease and what the ongoing treatment would entail for you. So the earlier it's caught, the more treatable it is.
And Kathy, 40 is the magical number. We were talking about that before we get started. I guess traditionally 40 is the magic number.
Without any family history, usually 40 is when you get your baseline mammogram, correct?
And that's when you went in.
That was my magical number. I went in for my baseline mammogram and found out a couple weeks later that I had breast cancer.
You probably couldn't have been more surprised.
I was very surprised. I had just had my GYN exam. Everything was fine, so I was just going in for what I thought was my routine mammogram.
So you thought, thank heavens I was in, I followed the guidelines. Surprise, you go through all of these things. What do you do next?
Well, I got the diagnosis and I couldn't have been more surprised. I mean, you hear the word cancer and the first thing you think is, you know, I have a family. Will I, see my kids grow up? What kind of treatment am I going to have? It was kind of like a really moment when I really just had to stop and think, where is my life going to go after this?
A whole lot went through your mind.
A whole lot.
A whole lot went through your mind. In terms of one of the ways certainly to get ahead of the curve is having the mammograms. Early detection is key. Once it is detected, you take the steps. But are there ways to reduce the risk of breast cancer, Ida? Are you working with patients in that capacity?
So we do talk about that. Unfortunately, there's no kind of single thing that they can focus on. So we really encourage an overall healthy lifestyle. So regular exercise, a healthy diet, which unfortunately there's no amount of a superfood or anything like that you can eat, but just eat lots of fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, and then make sure you maintain a normal body weight. That can also have an impact. And then we encourage patients to keep alcohol intake to a minimum, as well as stop smoking if they are a smoker.
Ida, another important area that we hear often about is reducing stress. And as women, certainly men and women, but for women we carry a lot of stress. So that's an area where support groups would come into play, and that was a key to your success.
Right. So after I got my diagnosis, I found that, I needed a lot of help with things. And I had a lot of family support. I had a wonderful group of friends. But I did rely on a support group towards the end of my treatment. Also relied on a wonderful clinical nurse that was able to provide me support and answer questions when I had them. But I facilitate a support group at St. Francis. Well, it's called the St. Francis Group. We actually meet at Westchester now. And it's usually a group of about 15 or 20 women, and they're in all stages of from diagnosis to through with their treatment. And they sit around and provide a lot of support for each other, make some lifelong friends, and just a wonderful group of ladies. So we usually have a couple of new people each time that come in that are newly diagnosed, and all the other people just embrace them and help them get through the journey.
Yeah, and part of that support group too is the team that you work with. We have a great team at Virginia Breast Center there at Bon Secours, and so thank you. Thanks for sharing your story.
Oh, you're welcome.
Appreciate it, Ida. Thank you. We're going to share some information so everybody knows where to find you. The Bon Secours Virginia Breast Center has 3 convenient locations: Westchester Medical Park in Midlothian, 601 Watkins Center Parkway, Suite 200, St. Mary's Hospital in Richmond, 5875 Bremo Road, Suite G11 in the South Medical Building, and Memorial Regional Medical Center in Mechanicsville, 8220 Meadowbridge Road, Suite 309. For all the information and to schedule your appointment, call 594-3130 or visit the center's website. It's vabreastcenter.com.